Hey guys, Tarisland has announced the arrival of its new season. Season 1 will be in October. At the same time, it will also be listed on Steam. So I've gone ahead and made this video to try and help any new players with some common questions. It's only about 10 minutes and we'll cover topics like, can you still catch up if you did not play the previous season? What profession should you pick for crafting and what you should spend resources on buying? We'll explain the lingo and acronyms used by the players, and at the end, I'll provide some tips and tricks which would hopefully save your time and make your gaming experience better. The video will focus mostly on PvE and how to get up to speed. PvP is an entirely different story. We'll cover that separately. The first big question most new players would ask is, if you come into the game new, will you still be able to catch up to old players? I think the answer is yes. It's not too difficult to get to endgame content from a PvE perspective, especially if you know what you're doing. Of course, you will not be able to completely match up to old players who spent many hours painstakingly farm the perfect stat and things like gem and prefixes, but you'll get about 80 to 90% of the way there quite easily, even as a free-to-play player. To test this, I actually started a new character to try it myself. The leveling in Tarisland is actually quite straightforward. All you got to do is keep following the main quest and you get to a level cap and unlock all the raids. You should still pay some attention to it though, because it does take you through the basic mechanisms, interfaces and systems, as well as a couple of simple raids to show you what they are like. While you're catching up on levels, there are two things I would recommend. The first is to enable the map objectives and collect them as you go. If you see a codex or artifact nearby, just go grab it. You will need it to unlock crafting features later. The other thing is to use the pointer item, which the game gives you for free, and activate auto-pathing from the start. It will make your life a lot easier. Once you get to a level cap and start getting reputation for the maps, you won't need this anymore. Once you hit the level cap, which is 40 for the current season, there is an in-game shop you can buy a whole set of gear with 110 gear score, which will boost you right to the end game content. Now these won't have fancy set attributes or any prefixes, but it should be enough to give you stats to get you into the epic raids. This new character I've got is a paladin tank. I was able to start joining epic raids and farm end game gear right away. It might be a little harder for DPS to do this, but the concept is the same. Of course, it's always a good idea to do the elite raids first to learn the mechanics, but if you're cool with watching some YouTube videos or read some guides, you should be able to handle epic as well. I was able to start tanking Arcane Realm and epic raid bosses with the basic set of gear, then replace bits and pieces as I go. By the time I got to the last epic raid, which is the Blight Dragon, I had about half of the 8-piece set, all of the 2-piece set. I was then able to tank it with only a little bit of difficulty. This is technically the last boss in the raid content so far, and he does hit pretty hard. Almost got one shot just now. But if you get to know the mechs and your class skills, you should be able to pull through with a bit of practice. It would also be very helpful if you don't mind joining a guild. Most of them will look after new players and try to take you along even if you don't meet the requirements. And they'll be much more forgiving even if you do make a mistake. There's a lot of content online already about gearing up and skill rotations for each class, so I won't include that here. But if you're looking for something specific and you can't find it, leave a comment, I'll see what I can do. Now, once you're able to go on epic raids regularly, it won't be too long before you collect all of the set pieces and replace the basic gear. You can then start going after better stats and farm gold to fill up the gems and power runes, which will take a little time unless you're willing to pump out some gold and buy them directly from the auction house. As of now, Tarisland offers 5 professions, each with their own perks. In theory, every profession needs the others to be useful because higher level items require materials crafted by other professions. But at the moment, alchemy is the clear favorite due to the amount of utility it has. Not only can it make potions for yourself, for example, tanks can make HP or defense, DPS can make crit or attack, but it also makes empowerment runes, which boosts stats on your gear, and most of all, this thing called Basin, which comes in 3 grades. You can craft it, and it's almost essential for the more difficult raids. What it does is gives your party members an extra buff to boost their stats, and helps in both attack and defense. That's why on a lot of the servers, almost half the players pick alchemy, but that also means it has the most competition. So for new players, it's a safe bet, but it really depends on the server you join and the economy there to see which one will be more profitable in the long run. Now for currencies, silver is used mostly in-game for repairs and other utilities, including buying fish bait. Gold is the auction house currency to buy items from other players. Crystals are used for buying perks and trading for cosmetics from the game itself. Usually you don't have to worry about silver because by the time you've reached the level cap, you're sitting on about 900k. As long as you don't go splurging on a shopping spree, you don't really have to worry about it for a long time. Gold you will need for gearing up, either buying other materials or directly buying gems and runes to help you add stats to your equipment. I don't know if anyone actually buys gear with gold directly. It's quite expensive and most people would probably just farm the gear from the raids. Gold can then be used to trade for crystals, which can be used to purchase tickets to boost your rewards for Battle Pass or other facilities. Just like any other game, Tarisland has its own acronyms. World Boss is pretty self-explanatory, just the same as Arcane Realm. World Tour in this case means this group is going to do all of the either elite or epic raids, and if you stay in the group you can get all of them done. Challenge mode is the more difficult version of the raid, either in elite or in epic, so it's usually done to tick off an achievement or for an event. There are quite a few things to do in Tarisland. What if you don't have time for all of them? Which one should you do first? I usually follow this list. First, I would do the world boss. This gives me a tier 3 gem, and I only need to do this once every few days. Then I look at the dailies. These are usually pretty straightforward, and the main goal here is to complete all of them to get 100 gold per day. Then I look at the event that is currently active. Usually these have substantial reward, but may also need a bit more work. For example, the one we just had is to complete challenge mode for epic raids, which needs you to be at least reasonably geared to participate. Epic raids, so this is the main source of gear and stats. It refreshes once a week, so you should have plenty of time to do that. Universal haul, I usually do this only when I need to. The rewards aren't amazing, but it does add up. Same as the above, but this takes a bit longer to do. And then achievements. Tarisland comes with a lot of seasonal achievements that has gold as reward. Some are pretty easy, where you just have to clear a certain raid. Some are a bit more complex and needs a particular condition to be met. There is a significant amount of gold in this, so it's worthwhile to look into. And then Arcane Realm. This is the alternative way to farm gear and stats. The reason I put this last is the result is random and it's not that much fun to do. The raids can be a bit more of a challenge and entertaining, where you actually need to pay attention. But this I just go autopilot because it does get too repetitive. I only do this if I have to. Buy out the shop every refresh. There are gathering tools, the arcane stone, and empower rune. The gathering tools, especially the blue one, is very important. As alchemist, it was the easiest way to level past 500 proficiency, so stock up on these whenever you can. Empower rune, of course, is used to upgrade gear, and arcane stone gives you double the rewards, so you don't have to farm it as much. Hotkeys. My personal preference is to use Q, E, R, T, etc. for skills, then numbers 1, 2, 3 for ultimates, and 4, 5, 6 for potions. I just find spamming Q and E much easier than pressing 1 and 2, but that's totally up to you. You can replace your skills using this gear icon here instead of going through the menu. I only found out about this not long ago, would have definitely saved me some time. That is it for now. Hopefully that has been helpful to you. If you do find this useful, please press like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment. See you next time.